All right, everybody, we got a Jedi Knight, a Ghostbuster, a Corvette Stingray, and half the B-movie actors in Hollywood. And together they're going to put a smile on your face from ear to ear. Let's hit it. Okay, everybody, today we are looking back on a true classic, 1978's Corvette Summer. I haven't watched this movie in years and years and years and years and years. I just got to watch it again, and it brought back all those amazing feelings I had about it the first time I seen it. But before we go any further, before we get into this little gem, before we do anything else, once again, as always, to the trailer.
It's the car of a lifetime. It took him all year to build it.
Hell, I'm gonna drive that thing right up to General Motors' front door.
One night to lose it.
Hey, that's my car! You stole my car!
And a whole summer to get it back. MGM presents Corvette Summer.
Somebody stole my Stingray and the word's out it's in Vegas.
You got a Corvette?
Starring Mark Hamill, who's back from Star Wars.
Oh, yeah!
And Annie Potts, who's out of this world.
You're gonna spend the night. Comprende, amigo?
If he knew as much about girls as he does about cars, he wouldn't be so nervous.
Peel off them duds, sailor, and let me see what you got.
Sure.
And if she knew as much about cars as she does about boys,
What do you drink?
she wouldn't be so jealous.
Motor oil?
And if you knew as much as they know about this candy apple metal flake Corvette, you'd be chasing it too.
I'm helping you, dope. I'm helping you find your car.
You run up against a car thief, you're liable to wind up at the bottom of Lake Mead.
He's into fast cars.
Why don't you write a letter to the car? Dear car.
She's into black velvet.
Beg your pardon?
Wow!
Together, they find love,
You have no right to take me anywhere.
excitement, and danger. On the trail of a stolen Corvette.
Stop this car! Stop it! I'm getting out!
Oh, no, you're not.
Mark Hamill, Annie Potts. It's the girl,
You're insane!
the car, and the time that separates the men from the boys. Corvette Summer,
It's a terrific car.
a fiberglass romance.
Okay, this motion picture was directed by Matthew Robbins. He was a writer and wrote a bunch of screenplays for a whole shitload of flicks, but he did 3 motion pictures that I can't believe did not lead to him having a more monstrous career than what he had. I mean, we're talking Batteries Not Included. We're talking The Legend of Billie Jean. And we are talking Dragon Slayer. Holy fucking shit. So, I don't know why he didn't go on to direct a whole bunch more stuff. I don't know. Maybe he just liked writing better. But, judging by this, and judging by them, he should have had a monstrous career. Okay! Playing Kenny, the one and only Mark Hamill. Okay, we all know he's got a monstrous voiceover career, doing all that Dark Knight Joker shit left and right. He's in a million video games, a million things, but he was in a bunch of motion pictures too. We're talking about he was in stuff like The Big Red One, and Black Magic Woman, and The Guyver, and Time Runner, and A Village of the Damned, and Jane Silent Bob Strikes Back, and The Night That the Lights Went Out in Georgia. And of course, he will always be, long after he's left this planet, he will always be Luke Skywalker in the Star Wars saga. And I'm talking about the real ones, episodes 4, 5, and 6 and shit, not that abomination of the Out of Eyes of God that they put out by Disney. I'm talking about the real Luke Skywalker in the real movies. And what more can you want than that? All right, playing Eleanor/Vanessa is a very adorable and cute and probably weighing like 64 pounds, Annie Potts. Come on, man, she's been in a bunch of shit. We're talking about she was in stuff like Pretty in Pink and Texasville and Jumpin' Jack Flash and King of the Gypsies and tons of TV work. You know, we're talking Hollywood High, Amazing Stories. She was on Designing Women for years. And of course, like I mentioned earlier, we're talking she was in Ghostbusters 1 and Ghostbusters 2 and that is the Annie Potts that'll be burnt into my head forever, other than this version of her. Anyway, let's keep going. Okay, playing Teacher McGrath was Eugene Roche. We just talked about him, because I just talked about him in Foul Play a few episodes ago. But he was in other stuff too, man. I mean, we're talking about he was in Executive Decision and tons of TV work from Kojak and Harry O and Starsky and Hutch and Maude and All in the Family and Vegas and Soap and Webster and Magnum PI and Murder, She Wrote. So, I mean, his TV career looks like a goddamn dictionary. It's fucking ridiculous. Playing Wayne Lowry was Kid Milford. He was in some stuff. You might recognize him, you might not. Anyway, he was in stuff like Laser Blast and Wired to Kill and Nightmare at Noon, and he was on TV and Mannix and Mod Squad and on the stage. You know what I mean? He was in like a Rocky Horror Picture Show and Jesus Christ Superstar. He died of a heart attack at like 37 years old. That's why his career really didn't, you know, run its gambit and you know him better. He died tragically young. It is what it was, but he was in this, did a great job. Did a really good job in all the other shit he was in too. So, you know, tragedy guy passed away early, but it is what it is. Let's keep going. Okay, playing Kenny's mom. Doesn't that sound kind of like we're just talking about fucking South Park? Anyway, it was Jane Johnston. Now, she was in a bunch of stuff too. We're talking about she was in stuff like Jag and Seinfeld and Sisters and Murphy Brown and L.A. Law and Beretta and Family. So she might not have a name that jumps out at you or even a face that jumps out at you. But she was around. She's in a lot of shit, especially back in that time. What more do you want? Okay, and playing one of the henchmen, Brion James. Brion James. Come on, man, you all know the face as soon as you see him. We're talking Blade Runner. We're talking The Fifth Element. We're talking Another 48 Hours and Striking Distance and Deadly Ransom and A Place Called Truth and Steel Dawn. I mean, fucking, are you shitting me? He passed away years ago too, which is kind of a shame, you know what I'm saying? But Brion James will always be remembered from anybody who was a teenager in the 80s. He was iconic. Playing the principal was Richard McKenzie, another face that popped up on TV over and over again. I mean, he was in stuff like Quincy and Three's Company and All in the Family and One Day at a Time and Growing Pains and It Takes Two and The Facts of Life and Matlock and a show that gets completely fucking forgotten that I used to love when I was a kid, Carter Country. Handle it, Roy. Handle it. Anybody remember that? Come on, give me a break. Handle it. That shit was the shit. You never see it anymore. And popping up in this motion picture are a bunch of people that were around, and you'll recognize them, I hope, when you see it. I mean, come on, there's so many people in there. I know you're going to be going, whoa. We're talking the immortal Dick Miller is in there. I did a whole thing for Dick Miller. Dick Miller is in here. We're talking Danny Bonaduce pops up in this son of a bitch. We're talking T.K. Carter from The Thing. Are you fucking kidding me? And Wendie Sperber, who popped up in everything from the 80s. I mean, she was even in Used Cars, for Christ's sake. Everybody and anybody is in this motion picture, and it just adds to the awesomeness. All right, everybody, I'm going to try to do this story. I'm going to keep it to 90 seconds or less, as I always do, so that we can get to the summation, which is all where we want to be. So I'm going to keep this short, keep it simple, and not try to give away too much. Now, the story is very simple. Kenny, he's part of a shop class in school, and he's in the junkyard one day with his teacher, and he sees a Corvette smashed, bashed, and broken to shit being dragged overhead to be put into the cruncher. Anyway, he sees it, and he runs to it, and he's screaming for them to stop in his best Star Wars, shut down all the masters on the detention level, shut down all the garbage masters. Sounded just like that, kind of crazy. Anyway, they take this car back to shop class. They work on it. They fix it up. Kenny's obsessed. It's the only thing he cares about. He doesn't care about girls, the problems, nothing. All he cares about is working on this car and making it the dream come true. And in the end, this thing turns out to be one of the most raddest street rods with a right-wheel drive that you could ever find anywhere. I'm not really into that look of car, by the way, but just throwing it out there. Anyway, they fix it up. They take pictures of it. It's awesome. And then one day, while they're all taking it out for a test drive, it disappears. It's been stolen. Before you know it, Kenny can't take no more. He's going on a cross-country trek. He doesn't give a shit where it goes. But he finds out on a lead while working at a gas station that it's in Las Vegas. And off he fucking goes to Vegas to get that car back. While he's there, he meets this crazy chick who's an aspiring prostitute. Hey, we all gotta have fucking dreams someplace. And they hook up and they team up in the strangest of ways, and together they go out there and they try to find that Corvette. Along the way, Kenny sees this thing driving all over town numerous times. There's many a chase scenes where he's trying to get it back. And finally, he kind of finds out where this car is and how it wound up there, and faces the ultimate act of betrayal. The ultimate act of heartbreak. But we'll get into all that later. Actually, no we won't, because I'll be getting you too much. Okay, everybody. I'm going to tell you flat out right now, this is a movie that if you don't walk away from smiling from ear to ear and feeling better than when you went in, you might want to have your pulse checked. You very well might be dead. This is one of those great teen motion pictures of the time. You know what I'm talking about? Where either people are in high school, or they've just left high school, and they're finding themselves, and they're breaking away, and they're going off on an adventure. And that's essentially what this motion picture is. It's an adventure story, but with a love story wrapped all around it, and which is what really makes it kick off too. And hey, I'm a sucker, and I admit it, for twisted love stories. The pacing of this motion picture keeps it moving so that it never gets dull and it never gets boring. There's humor in it, but it's not rammed down your throat to that point where it becomes a comedy motion picture by any stretch of the imagination. There is a little bit of TNA in it, but not to the point where it becomes some exploitation flick or anything like that. But hey, it is cool seeing Annie Potts topless. Like I said, what makes this motion picture work is just the pure adventure of it. You know those motion pictures that came from that period of time, at least the ones that are indelled in my heart for the rest of my life, that just make you remember that point in time, that point in life, that feeling that you get when you watch these motion pictures. And this was right in there with them. This was right in there with them. I mean, there was others, you know, Breaking Away, which I'm going to cover, which was amazing. And The Outsiders, obviously. I mean, let's not even fool ourselves. And a motion picture like Over the Edge. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was a little darker, a little bit more darker, but it was a great motion picture, and we'll get to that one too. And this one was always right in there with that group for me. It was right in there with that, come on man, we're just going to have fun and feel good, except for an Over the Edge, and have a little adventure and a little breaking away. Everybody can relate to the character of Kenny in this motion picture. Not many can relate to the character of Vanessa, but she's there and she's fun and she's great, and to see these two develop that kind of bizarre, strange relationship is just what makes this motion picture work on a different level. It's not just a simple romp of this kid trying to get his car back and running all over the place. It really works because you really have that cute little love story that's coming from all angles of these two, I don't know what you want to call it, characters. Yeah, there's time Mark Hamill lays it on a little bit thick. I mean, there is just... He's a little melodramatic, folks, that's all I can say. And there's so many times when he gets emotionally screaming and yelling, I'm like, oh my God, there's the voice. There's the fucking voice. That's him. That's Skywalker. There he is. But on every level, it just works and it just clicks. Everybody plays their parts perfectly. Everybody nails their parts perfectly. Not to the point where they're overbearing and they're like, the henchmen are so evil, they're super evil. They're evil, but... kind of, they're not funny evil, but they're, you know, passable evil. That kind of a thing. Everybody in it just nails it. The directing is solid. The soundtrack is kind of like hokey and cokey and carnival circusy like, but it adds to the levity of the motion picture. Again, this isn't something that you're going to go into and think that you're going to be pounded over the head with drama or TNA or action or anything like that. You're just going to walk out happier than when you walked in. Everybody, I can't recommend this enough. This is an old classic. I just revisited it after years and years, and I had myself the time of my life. No matter what you do, go out there Find yourself Corvette Summer. Watch it. Have a good time. You will sit there, smile from ear to ear, and grin for the rest of the day. I shit you not. Be good. Take care. Look out for yourself. Look out for your fellow man. And above all else, under no circumstances, from any person on this planet, ever take any bullshit. See you soon, guys.